Welcome to Star Citizen and the XXL status update for July. After version 3.14 with the implementation of Orison on Crusader and the associated cloud tech technology is already on the test server, more mechanics find their way into the game, which have not only marginal impact on the current alpha experience. These include the power management system, formerly known as capacitor gameplay, the missile operator mode, the large-scale revision of ship and weapon values, as well as many smaller optimizations and improvements. And of course, the new radar scanning and ping system is no small feature. But apart from the 3.14 release on the test server for the first wave, there were some interesting and promising developments and updates in the currently monthly report, as well as on the roadmap. We summarize these for you in different sections and analyze for you, as usual, the presenting data material. We will start with the monthly report, and in the following we will put the current roadmap into context in order to be able to make our analysis from this. The AI content team created advanced motion capture footage, which will be prepared for implementation into the game. This is expected to significantly reduce the effort required for subsequent steps, freeing up capacity. The behavior of NPC guards and vendors has been enhanced, allowing for initial interaction. In this case, the security guard will display random behavior patterns when approaching a civilian. This asks, for example, the escape route of a criminal or reporting a violation is possible. Likewise, the linkage with the reputation system is here in development. Vendors can collect food and drinks from various commodities and ultimately deliver them to the player as a single order. This also includes further work on dialogues as well as appropriate animations and actions. In the area of NPC AI, Space Combat will allow the AI to identify and target subcomponents such as engines and weapons. Further, an expanded selection of tactics will be possible. As an example, it was mentioned to first disable the engines of a ship and then to fire at it from a safe distance. Furthermore, the AI will focus its attacks on the biggest threats, so hardpoints with big weapons that cause the most damage. Behavior in this context has also been adjusted in that the NPCs shift their approaches to the side needed for this in order to be able to target these special weapon hardpoints. Furthermore, properties of the NPC opponents, such as talkative or quiet, were implemented, which ultimately represent the frequency and type of communication with the player. In the future, NPCs will react to stimuli set by the player, such as firing a shot, drawing the weapon or similar behavior. For this, different variables such as the direction, the reaction level and armament, or the putting away of a weapon are processed, which is due to the enormous number of animation templates, more extensive work. Also an AI behavior, which enables NPC to recognize cargo boxes or other material, to pick them up, and finally to stack them, was created by a prototype. Here a transfer to other areas is also possible, as well as different behaviors depending on the area of use. Interesting is the completion of a first version, the Unmanned Gun Turret AI. This technique used for Invictus Week and the massive Bengal carrier led to many positive experiences and effects, and is very easily transferable to several other entities, so any turrets or other AI-controlled areas. According to our analysis, this significantly speeds up an implementation of the server blade technology or the NPC crew member. Details on this can be found in the second section, where we revisit the roadmap, especially for this area. The routing of NPCs, in addition to navigate on foot, also has been improved in space, which among other things lead to smaller ships, larger ships take to avoid, and larger ships expect to be given space. Further, NPCs will be able to use and control cargo carts, hospital beds, trolleys and the like. These areas, in addition to the medical gameplay, are of course essential for the cargo area. An internal subsumption system, which provides for more detailed mission logic, allows for a better overview of the logic strands of missions, allowing for a significant improvement of them. The animation team is working on several new sets for stores and shops, as well as on behavioral animations of civilians running, hiding or otherwise reacting to the environment. Furthermore, animations for medical treatments and resurrection are being created, which are also necessary for medical gameplay. The expansion of facial animation for emotes, eating and drinking, and countless other systems have also been created. Work continued on upcoming tools such as dedicated salvaging or tractor tools. The art team worked on other hospital sites like Grim Hex or Area 18, which are already in the grey box phase. Interesting are puzzles that appear for the exploration gameplay, which provide an enhanced experience while exploring crashed spaceship wrecks and new game areas. For this, 24 different of these puzzles have on which be implemented on the ground, and the other half in space will initially be brought into the game. For ground missions, randomly generated interiors will be developed, which should offer more variety. Colonial outposts have been brought to the final art phase and will now feature more variations and additional themes. Nearing completion are gas clouds surrounding jump points, which will receive several different looks. Also, performance improvements and bug fixes for Orison are in the works. In the area of ships, many small improvements have been made to a variety of already flyable ships, and the Constellation Taurus has been brought into the game. Both Crusader Starfighter variants, the Iron and the Inferno, have entered the final art phase and will be delivered in the 4th quarter. Likewise, the Drake Vulture has entered the white box phase. Exciting was the announcement of a new variant of a popular ship, which will be announced later in the year. Fitting to this was the news that the British team is in the final art and lighting phase for an unannounced ship. Of course, there is a lot of room for speculation here. However, the suggestion that is a new variant of a popular ship implies that we can expect a new version of a ship already capable of flight. The Aegis Redeemer also completed the grey box phase and is about to be released. The Saber as well as the Retaliator are still on the way to the gold standard, with the Retaliator receiving revised lightning and door controls throughout. The Crusader Hercules Starlifter A2 variant is currently being prepared for a timely release with the addition of a kitchen area for the crew, as well as the 2 large bomb bays for unfriendly contact with non-crew members. The audio team continues to work on the musical and atmospheric background of Orison. In addition, effects for the medical gameplay, the Cure Live medical equipment series, as well as corresponding dialogues were also created. The engine team completed several optimizations with the physics calculation using only 50% of the memory. Also, network-related data access and synchronizations were made more efficient. The work on Generation 12 renderer continues to progress well, allowing for a timely planned release. This will result in significant performance improvements. For version 3.14, advanced graphics settings were enabled, which will be further expanded and refined. A driver problem with NVIDIA GTX graphics card of the 10 series have been fixed with a workaround. The feature team is working on a blood drug level, which will have a direct influence on the player's actions through various screens and game effects. A certain degree of randomness has also been implemented here, allowing for a more realistic occurrence. The occurring effects scale with the player's values and react to alcohol or drug consumption. A down state was implemented as part of the medical gameplay, which is a type of unconsciousness where players rely on help from teammates to revive them. The gameplay team continued work on the player asset manager, with the name finally settled on Knickknacks. A corresponding logo and branding scheme was created, with the remaining tasks being prepared for a 3rd quarter release of the Knickknacks system. I hope they choose a logo that looks like nuts that will fit the name. The in-game event, Ninetales Lockdown, takes place with the live version of 3.14. The cargo refactor has been expanded with work on resource containers, as well as the persistent hangars and the sales areas. For the Alpha 3.15 loot generation, the boxes with randomly available valuable loot is in the works. Atmospheric damage, as in the descent to the core of Crusader, will be developed through appropriated ship damage. Ship-to-ship refueling is in the final production phase, allowing players to sell fuel to other players in exchange for credits. The feature team continues to work on jump points with rapid progress and a large portion of the team working on them. Thruster dust effects would be finalized for the upcoming game release. Furthermore, the docking mechanics have been improved, whereby docked vehicles can now be refueled, repaired and rearmed. The key feature of Alpha 3.14, the new ship HUDs, will be further improved and implemented for the different ships. Also in active work is the missile operator mode, as well as the power distribution system, and the various aspects of ship combat. These will be further balanced, optimized and improved for 3.14. The graphics and VFX team have reworked the radar scanner and ping system, which features completely new visual effects and optimizations for this. In addition, a number of performance improvements and resource savings were worked out for Orison due to the distance rendering. In addition, the fire feature is making good progress and is ready for a timely implementation. The law team created extensive material for Orison, the upcoming in-game events, the Xi'an letters, as well as material for the medical and hacking gameplay. On the part of the Turbulent team, work on server meshing is still in full swing, with the Erisa website also being greatly expanded and made more efficient by the new roadmap. Also new are the private multi-user lobbies in Spectrum, which is the first step in connecting Spectrum to the in-game chat. And the backend has also been significantly expanded and improved. The user interface team is working on all areas for the medical gameplay, creating the core technology for the new star map and connecting it to the new radar and scan system. This background work will be completed in the foreseeable future and an in-game functionality subsequently implemented. Ultimately, a new UI for the star map will follow. Furthermore, interactive screens for Orison were created, as well as improvement of the Mobiglass and several new logos and vehicle HUD concepts. The VFX team added Theaters of War, a big explosion sequence, and also worked on their vehicle radar and ping system. So much for the monthly report. Let's move on to the roadmap and our analysis of it. We'll limit our analysis to relevant changes or areas that are revealing in context. With the European gameplay feature team, which aims to complete damage for atmospheric pressure, for example Crusader, but also underwater in mid-September. The work on long-range probes will start in August, but a completion is not yet in sight. At the end of June, we will already receive the first version of a dynamic loot system, which should be expanded by mid-October, just in time for CitizenCon. Ship-to-ship refueling is expected in early September. The Firesprite team continues the work on Theaters of War expansion as expected. The area of game service, the player statistics service is planned until the end of August, as well as further work on Grimhex and server meshing. And of course, the work on Squadron 42 continues. The mission team is planning a new mission type until the end of the year, which includes infiltrating a ship and hacking mechanics. In addition, the well-known dynamic events as well as a race to Hurston and its moons are also planned until December, as well as the implementation of missions for Pyro. Furthermore, an extension of the reputation system is planned. The first-person radar and scan system are expected by early August, as well as an enhanced version of Orison with 3.16, but also the Pyro space stations, the spawn closets, as well as some unannounced game content are expected. November to early December will be interesting, as many teams have scheduled basic areas for Pyro implementation. Mission feature team, an adaptation of the flight control system for server meshing is taking place, as well as work on dynamic events and server meshing itself. In addition, a tracking app that gives more information on violations is in the works. Modular work on the Akiro cluster will be complete by the end of December and on jump points by the end of August. Work on the outposts, however, will continue into 2022. However, work on Pyro is also targeted for completion in mid-November. The mentioned puzzles, as well as expansions of crashed ships and the exploration gameplay, are planned until the end of November. Work on the hospital interior is scheduled for the end of August for space stations and until 2022 for the hospitals in Lowville and Levski. Planet content team, apart from general improvements, there are no major new announcements. The tech team, on the other hand, is expecting the Generation 12 renderer by the end of September, when a performance leap can be expected. At the PU gameplay team, we will already receive the new asset manager in mid-August, which has been given the nutty name Knick-Knack and shows us the location of our items and enables the equipment. With those commodity kiosks, we will find in the future for cargo flights a loading and unloading time, early December in the game. Work on the Hangar Manager app goes beyond the year, but we will also be able to sell the first items in early December. The concept team is finishing the reproposing of the Banu Merchantman in early August, but that doesn't mean we'll see the Merchantman as a flyable ship before the end of the year. However, we will get up here with another team. That the first version of life support will be completed at the end of July, as well as some unannounced concepts. With some of these unannounced concepts, it concerns, among other things, also ships and vehicles. Which brings us to the vehicle team Europe. Here comes with the 3.15 the long-awaited Redeemer, and we see that the Merchantman is still in the works until the year 2022. Towards the end of the year, however, the hull series of MISC from the A to C variant is pending. Towards the end of the year, the 600i gets its gold standard, though it remains to be seen if the interior will still change. Scorpius we meet also only again 2022, however there is to the CitizenCon in October still an unannounced ship. The US team is planning the Starfighter series until mid-September, work on the Crusader already starts at the end of October, the Vulture is planned for mid-November, with the Vandul ships taking a big part for Squadron 42. In addition, again in September and October, we get no less than 4 unannounced ships. So we can expect to see several ships and vehicles ready for direct flight at CitizenCon in October. The Starlifter A2 with bomb functionality is planned for early September, as well as an update for all ground vehicles in November. The Quantum Experience work starts in July and the ship's CPU systems is still in the works, as is new version of the exterior camera controls. Incidentally, the CPU system directly includes blade technology, which means usable turrets for the pilot and other options. Ship-to-ship refueling is already planned for the late July, with work on MFDs and jump points in the work through 2022. For Squadron 42 there will be a checkpoint system, so an indirect save game capability. First version of life support as well as technology for the hull series are expected in September. Improvements to the ship doors and ramps are planned for December, and in September we can expect spawning of vehicles and ships. Fire extinguishers will be complete as early as July. For weapons there will be overheating as well as malfunctions before the end of the year. From Greycat we will receive more attachments for the multi-tool as well as a crossbow in early August. In September a Parallax laser assault rifle is planned. There will also be unannounced expansions as well as new weapon attachments. Most exciting is the weapon malfunction system. With the first version of the salvaging mechanics mid-September, we have all the important areas up to date. I hope you enjoyed the video and leave me a like and maybe even a subscribe here. Already for 3.14, there were, compared to previous years, many new mechanics, improvements and especially to completion of core technologies. With the server meshing as well as the final implementation of the iCache system 2022, a big step towards the beta version is done. But as always, I'll be interested in your opinions on this. Do you believe in a timely implementation of this feature? Feel free to write me in the comments to the video, in the Discord or in the almost daily Twitch livestreams. The most important is always at the end. A big thank you to all Patreons, channel members and Twitch subscribers. You are a huge motivation, and without you this would not be possible in this form. Thank you so much for your support, guys. You definitely rock. Of course, there are extensive giveaways again this month, which are and how you can participate you can find out in the video description or in the following announcement trailer. Good luck and see you soon. I say goodbye until next time and say as always, see you in the verse.